James Howard, absent. Joe Mullinex,
Present.
Dave Moon,
Here.
Brent Wedding,
Here.
Mike Wilson, absent.
I make a motion, we just suspend the rules and do not read the previous
Second.
minutes. Second, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Okay. There's no old business, new business, appeal the special exception for the RV parcel. Ms. Cooley, are you here?
Yes.
Want to come on up? State your name and state your case.
Sharon Cooley, and I'm here just to make appeal to that special exception of the camper and motor park that is next to my property. My main concern is the flood zone area and any building around that. And just to make sure that, it's done properly, that all permits are completed through the Department of Natural Resources as well as Army Corps of Engineer, because that is a floodplain that directly comes into my property should it flood with any disruption of the ground around those lakes.
Okay, this would fall under the DNR that would go through that process of either granting or not granting the flood area to make sure that they're up to code and all that on that. All we do here is we give the person that wants to work with the property a zoning variance, at which time then he would go file for his permits, and then when that is done and he has his permits, then DNR will look at it and do that. So
I'm also just opposed to the campground that would be that close to my property and just a change in the value of my property.
So how do you feel this would hurt the value of your property?
Well, if there's just a lot of campers, lots of noise, because I know that they can, put in campers within 100 feet of that open ditch there. So, yeah, party lights, campers, trash, dogs barking,
Okay.
those type of items are a concern to me. And then if people would come onto my property, because it's just, that Prairie Creek is walkable across also, so there can be that issue. But it's been very quiet there, and I don't really want all that disruption, so that's just a personal.
Okay. Any questions from the board for her?
None that are real germane. It said none that are real germane, so.
Okay, thank you.
Mark Boyer. I finished you guys' pictures last time. I don't know if you got them or not, but I appreciate her concerns about the floodway and stuff. In that area down by the creek, there's a 75-foot maintenance either side that's off the bank. We won't be able to put nothing in there.
Back here. Sorry, Mark, we can't hear you.
Can you turn up the mic or something?
Not really, it's all automatic.
Try talking closer to the mic, maybe. There you go.
I've got some nerve issues. I
Yeah,
can't talk
I
very
understand.
loud. I appreciate her concerns. As far as along the creek there, there's a 75-foot setback for maintenance for that ditch towards her side and 75 foot towards our side. Right now it's farmed. In that area, it become like more of like a wildlife habitat area. We have to go through DNR for the zoning or the permit. She has all those concerns about flooding, and I guess I'm a little bit baffled when you bought your house, when she bought her house and built her big red barn, it's in the floodplain that she didn't have no concerns in. Apparently no worries for her. So And then recently she put a storage barn down in the same area. So I'm not sure why her situation is different than mine. Here's her barn, and here's her, both of them's in the floodplain.
Yeah, thanks. I already drove and looked at the property, so.
That's her house, her barn, that's both different floodway right here.
Yeah.
So apparently she didn't have no concern, but she was doing it for her benefit. So it's for my benefit, there's an issue with it.
Now, did I hear you say you're not doing anything in that 75-foot?
You can't.
No, it's
Right.
a maintenance.
Yeah,
And
that's, I just wanted to make sure
she
that
said
you weren't
100 feet,
trying to.
75 feet.
Yeah,
I don't know what more I can, there's a lot I can say. I mean, there's a lot of properties here in town here, it's in the floodplain.
right.
I mean, there's, just to name a few, the AutoZone, Taco John's, the Ford dealership, Dairy Queen, Tracks Inn Restaurant, the movie theater, Crossroads Banks, most of the Casey's gas station are all built in the floodplain. A lot of Peru's in the floodplain. And I think it's common knowledge that ditch don't flood down through there. It was mislabeled years ago. I know the city fought it, and it's, getting to DC to do something is like pulling teeth. So I plan on following the rules. I don't think she probably followed the rules when she built her barn or bought her house, but I'm wanting to follow the rules, and you'll have that. So, and I think it'll be good for the community. There's a research here from Minnesota. They're going to do the campground. They figured out for each day the family came to visit in that community. There's a lot of local people who would use the camp facility. And then obviously out-of-towners, they'd spend approximately $300 a day locally. And it's funny, he mentioned a bakery. That was one of the things they listed in here. They spent money at the bakery. So do you have any questions for me?
Is the campground, and I'm sorry, I was out of town at the last meeting, is the campground going to be, or have any permanent sites, or is it just daily, seasonal, weekly?
I'm wanting to have some just permanent sites, like I thought about doing members only, so you wouldn't have as much turnover. There's more money in turnover.
Right,
I'm just kind of running the numbers on that, to be honest with you.
okay.
So, and you can't have a campground in a floodway. I guess unlike the properties I just mentioned in her house and her barn, RVs are on tires. We can move them. Houses, you can't move that quick. So if there was ever a flood. Any questions?
And you're the one that's going to be running the campground?
Mm-hmm.
So I have gone camping quite often, and many campgrounds have, quiet time from such and such time to such and such time. Are you going to have that in place in a way to manage that? Because she's concerned about
Sure.
partying, different things. So is that something you're putting in place to
Yep.
control that?
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, if, it wouldn't be any different than like the Cinewall campground or any campground. I mean, I do
Right.
a lot of camping,
Right.
and most of at night you can walk through there as quiet as can be. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So,
Thank you.
anything else? Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
I'm Patrick Cooley. I'm Sharon Cooley's brother. I know Mark very well, done a lot of work for him and his brother both. And my sister's my sister. My concerns, I guess, initially, when we looked at this, and I guess my question is, who wants a campground 75 feet from their house? That property was my sister's kind of last place she planned on living, and she works a lot of hours, stressful job, and that's her kind of little paradise to hang out when she is home. I guess my concern, and we didn't see any of this before we granted the zoning, we just went ahead and did it. I guess the balance in it would be is I think we need to see some plot plans, what the whole layout's going to look like, what the covenant plan is for the campground. You know, I think if we do a long-term lease on campsites out there, I think that's the problem. I think if you do one-year lease on campsites, I think that'll turn into another trailer park in Miami County. And we already got that kind of thing going on the north side of US 24. So we're changing something from ag to commercial. I've never seen that place flood, so the flooding is really not an issue to me. But my concern is, you know, and I do that little hay field there. Like I said, I think the balance is covenants and whatnot, and everybody here needs to ask themselves the question of, you know, how they would feel about a campground right in their backyard when there wasn't one there. And I guess if you know, bottom line is, I like Mark, love my sister. I guess who was there first? So that's all I got to say.
Did you want to answer any of his concerns about the way it's going to be laid out and so forth?
It's not going to turn into a trailer park. And when I say that, there's great trailer parks, and there's ones that aren't so great. But I think, you know, like around the lake, if somebody wanted to, like a porch, you know, on the lake, or, you know, like a little lookout thing, we'd want to be more standardized. You know, so all of them look the same. Have one builder build all of them. Not, well, hey, you can do it, Joe, you can do it, Fred, have all this commingled stuff. Because, I mean, that stuff's going to will increase the value of the luck, the surroundings, and increase the value. If people see you have standards and you keep them, that's going to mean something, you know. So I think we'll have some controls in place to do, you know, to control them concerns, I guess what I'm saying. So, and that place is its own business, it's not agriculture.
It is zone business.
Yeah. It's own business, Patrick.
I thought it was ag.
I know, you should have done some more homework.
I should have.
So, anyway, it's not going to be a slam, bam, thank you, ma'am type thing. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Tidd?
Jim Tidd with Miami County Economic Development. And I just wanted to say, and ma'am, I understand your concerns about your property, but I can tell you in the, 28 years I've been doing this job here in Miami County, that property has been looked at for several different things. Prior to Mark and his brother taking it over, it was owned by a developer, Craig Kaiser, for quite some time. I can tell you that over that period of time, Love's Truck Stop, Flying J Truck Stop, an industrial development, all those kind of things were looking at that property. And I don't know, believe me, I understand, but if I were looking at, that is a very visible corner, and eventually something is going to develop in that corner. I mean, it's got good access with 24 and 31 right at the interchange. So I guess you could wind up with a truck stop. You could wind up with an industrial use around the clock with no quiet times or those kind of things. So I guess, and you're right, part of our industry here in the county is tourism. And so having that opportunity and having people visit our community and take advantage of some things, I can see the benefit from what Mark is trying to do, and it will bring revenue to the community. But again, that property is business and is being looked at for a lot of other things, and something will eventually develop in there that may be worse for noise and those kind of things than a campground. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, now, we already granted a zoning variance at 2 meetings ago.
Right.
So this vote would be to either keep the zoning variance in place or to revoke it. So yes would be to keep it in place, no would be to revoke it, okay? Any other discussion? Roll call.
Dave Moon,
Yes.
Brent Wedding,
Yes.
Joe Mullenix.
Yes. Any other business?
Thanks for your time.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. I'll make motion that we conclude this meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.